Hello, this is teddygaming here, and welcome back to another review on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tmnt Mutant Mayhem movie. And yeah, this movie was surprisingly really good. Now, going into this movie, I did have my doubts about quite a few things, mainly the direction of taking the whole franchise, as well as some of the actors chose for some of the roles. But I must admit, coming out of the cinema and seeing the movie, I do definitely have a big different opinion on the movie. And I must admit, I did really enjoy it, and I did enjoy some of the directions which they did take this whole movie, as well as some of the actors. Now, I must admit, going into this movie, I did think that Donatello's voice was a little bit, like, on the, younger side, but I must admit, it didn't really grow me, but I got used to it enough where I'd be like, yeah, that voice could work, I would say. And then Splinter was another voice which I didn't really think worked too well in the trailers, and I must admit, after watching the movie, I still don't think it works all too well, but at the same time, I think it might be a Splinter which I'll have to get a bit used to, just because I did like his vibe and also the energy he gave, as well as the things that he did do in the movie. I just didn't think that his voice worked all too well for the character, but I got a feeling that for future movies and stuff like that, I could definitely have a different opinion on it, so I think he's going to be one for me to grow onto, but I got a feeling it might be a bit hard for me. Now, speaking of actual standout characters, two big standout ones for me was Leonardo and April. Leonardo had everything which I wanted and more. He had the personality and a bit of a leadership role in him, and I do definitely think that my biggest problem with him so far, and I do think it's something which I do think they're going to be like building up upon in future movies and stuff like that, is him being more of a leader. And I say that's the only thing which I have like a bit of a problem with so far, but other than that, I did really enjoy his role in the movie and think that he did a great job. I think it might be the new best Leonardo for me. And then for April O'Neil, oh boy, where do I even begin? I think this might be like the near perfect April, and I think the voice was perfect for April. I do really love this voice for April. I like her role in the movie where she's able to actually help people, she's be able to journalist and stuff like that. I think that this could honestly be the next best April, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with her character going forward, just because I got a feeling that she has like a lot of potential in this universe and stuff like that, and I do think that she's going to be a character which a lot of people will enjoy, and yeah, I just love her character so much. Now, speaking of the other characters in this movie, I thought they did like a really good job for the most part. The other Turtles, Mikey and Raph, they were there, they did decent jobs, I would say. They didn't really do anything like too outstandish or anything like that, but they were there and did a really good job. But then with the other mutants, such as like Bebop, Rocksteady, Leatherhead, Mondo Gecko, and all the other ones, as much as I liked them, and don't get me wrong, I love seeing them on the big screen, I love seeing Leatherhead, but my biggest problem with this movie so far is the fact that there has so many characters in this movie that it felt as though that like a majority of them didn't really have much of a reason to actually be in the movie whatsoever, and most of them not really having too much to really say. They had like a line here or there, and it felt as though that maybe like they was just saying stuff just so that they actually had presence in the movie. I think that's my biggest problem with these characters so far. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love them all so much, but I just feel as though that maybe if they were given more time in maybe like their own movie, or even the movie where they're actually the main villains, I do think they'll probably work a lot better, just because they actually have like a lot of chances to shine as characters and stuff like that. Instead, we just get them there, and we don't really get to see too much of them. We don't get much of a personality whatsoever. I think the only one that really gets to shine is Mondo Gecko, and that's only because he has a big like vibe with Michelangelo, which I must admit I did really enjoy. But for the other characters, it did feel like really weird having them in there, and it felt as though they had them in there just to definitely like beef up the cast and all that, which is a real shame, just because like the actors I had for these characters were like really great actors and stuff like that, and really great characters. But again, they didn't really do too much with them. It felt as though they were just there just to beef up the cast and stuff like that, which again is a real shame. Now, overall, this movie, they did do a few different things in this movie which took the brand in a new direction, which I must admit was pretty interesting. There was a few things in here which I did really enjoy, and would like to see a lot more of, just because we do get to see Superfly take down mutants into like the world, and they interact with humans before they are more or less run out by the humans, stuff like that. And we do get to see that with Splinter and the Turtles, and there was like something which I would like to see a lot more of in the movie, just because it feels like they have like a really good chemistry with all the characters and stuff like that. Despite not really seeing too much of it, I feel like I would have seen a lot more of that type of thing where it's just fun type of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I did enjoy like the fun new elements in that movie with those kind of things. Now, with the actual villain itself, Superfly, and also got Syntho Utrom and Tesseract. Now, Superfly, I know people are saying he's like the next best big villain and stuff like that, and I think that he did a pretty good job and stuff like that. My only problem with him is that the fact that they made him into a new character, despite them already having a character in the Toll universe, which a character who hates the humans, got tortured, he wants to kill all the humans, wants to make a, more mutant and stuff like that. But then again, I might be thinking about the wrong type of mutant, so yeah. Now, with Syntho Utrom and Tesseract, there was something which I was pretty interested about, just because, like, for the majority of it, they weren't really, like, the actual main villains whatsoever, and they were more of a setup villain for, like, sequels and stuff like that, which I do think is actually a pretty cool and interesting idea, just because they'll send up a lot of big threats and stuff like that, and if you have seen the end credits scene, then you understand what I'm talking about, with them, like, taking things to the next level for a sequel and stuff like that, which I do think is really great and really good. But that being said, it does feel a little bit weird that they are in the movie and are like a big role in the movie with being villains, despite them not really having too much to do in the movie itself. So with them, I am interested to see where they do take all these characters and stuff like that, and what they do with the Utroms in the following movies and stuff like that. But with what we've seen so far, I'm unsure what to really think of them so far, just because we haven't really seen too much of them just yet, and with what they've done so far, it could be interesting depending on what they do next, which, there's 101 different variety of options now. Okay, so next thing I'll talk about is the ending. Now, with this ending, I know it's going to be something that's definitely going to divide the fan base, just because of what they're going to do for the sequel as well as the TV show, which I must admit is interesting with where they're going to take the whole brand and franchise. But at the same time, with what they are doing in this movie, with the ending and stuff like that, and what they're going to be doing in the next sort of stuff, it's pretty interesting. Now, I must admit, overall, I'm not the biggest fan of what we did in the ending, just because I do feel as though that it's definitely taken away from the whole ninja aspects of the characters and stuff like that. And it's definitely like really off-brand for the characters with what they are doing, which, it could either be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you view it, which I do think is going to open up a lot of options and possibilities for the future stuff, which could be interesting like I've already said, but at the same time, because it's so off-brand for the Turtles, it's just going to feel weird, and I've got a feeling like a majority of people may be against it just because of what they're doing. But yeah, I must admit, overall, Mutant Mayhem was a pretty interesting, really great film. There's a lot of really great things in this movie which I was not really expecting, and I walked away just having a really good time. I was on the fence for the most part going into this movie, but going out of it, I must admit, it cleared my head and like, yeah, this is a really great movie. And I've got a feeling that if you do enjoy Turtles and stuff like that, and especially if you do enjoy Rise of TMNT or 2012, you're going to really love this movie. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this movie. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you doesn't, please share, like, subscribe and all that stuff. Goodbye, yo, and bye.